Okay, so this is a soil sample, and this is what we're reading at every one of these transects off of a GPS coordinate. And so what are these telling us, each line?
Okay, so for this data sheet, we have our 5 sample numbers, and then each one has a random distance and degree. So this was 13 meters from the center point at 103 degrees, and so 19 meters from the center point at 355 degrees, and so on. And then here for sample number 1, we took bare ground and the litter depth, and that was off of the Quadrat, which I think is actually right here. So we just throw it on the ground, and then wherever these intersections are between the 2 lines, however many of them have bare ground underneath them, we count that up, and there's 81 intersections total, so we can divide that later. And so what you can see on this data sheet is that most points had no bare ground, and then one of them had 2 spaces of bare ground. And then when we do the Quadrat, we look under it and take the litter depth, and that's in centimeters, and so most of them were 1 centimeter of litter. Catenal position is where it is on the slope, and all of these points were in the middle of the slope. And then the water infiltration we had explained earlier, so these are there 2 times for each point. And it ranges from 1 minute and 25 seconds being the fastest, and 41 minutes and 46 seconds being the slowest. Yeah, so it's quite a range, which is really, but that's the same for almost every point we do. So it's really interesting. And then this wet weight column, we'll take that this afternoon when we take them back. We're going to weigh them once we get home and write that down. And then this grayed out area, this is where we take all of we have the dry weight, the rock volume, and the rock weight, and we do that in the lab. So we'll fill that out later. Like, it could even be months from now that we take all these measurements. But that's what I had explained earlier about how we do the bulk density. And we do take all the rocks out of each bulk density, because obviously you don't want to include them. You want to include them separately. And then the max depth one is for the carbon, and that's how far down we were able to get either with the probe, or when we dig the hole, we always get to 40 centimeters, but when we do it with the probe, it goes to 36 usually.
Awesome. So we're trying to get this baseline read on this pasture health and soil health, and then we'll start to, over the years, build data that will show us if our practices are helping or hindering the environment, and how much carbon we're storing in the soil profile. And that's what we're doing.